today is two very well-known and established fashion designers here in Thailand. To my far right and to your left is Kun Saksit Pisan Supong, and in between us is Kun Pisit Jongnarangsin.
สวัสดีครับ
Well, you've had quite a career between both of you, and you actually didn't start off in fashion design
per se. How did you actually get into designing and using Thai fabrics?
We both came from the theatrical. Pisit is a professional, used to be a professional dancer, a la ballet dancer. And myself came from the theater background. Somehow we both love fashion, and of course we have so much appreciation in Thai silk, in particular when you talk about Thai fabric. So then that become starting us to work in fashion and bring us to use a lot of Thai silk into our different collections.
How does Thai silk differ from other types of silk in the world?
Okay, first of all, when you talk about silk, a lot of people, especially in the West, have the understanding or perception about something that is soft, that is flowy, that is smooth, silky. But for Thai silk, the difference is we have the harder type of silk, but by that you can make a dress or cloth or suit that is very, come into a very structured shape, very easy to make it into geometric form. Yeah.
And it's different things. Another Western silk and Thai silk. If you put Thai silk in the other ways, they're gonna be round shape. And if you put it another ways, it will be very.
So, as designers, how do you go about making a new piece? How do you go about thinking of a new design?
We usually find our inspiration in different culture of clothes. Some of the collection we use Japanese, some we use Chinese, some we use Bhutanese, some we use Indian. Some we use Thai, as what you see on the back. We use the khon, which is a type of dancing in the Thai royal court. It's actually one of the highest dancing form in Thailand. Yeah, it's a mask dance, and so we use a lot of those culture and sometimes art and sometimes performing art to be our inspiration.
Well, you've also had some very good experience and success. As you mentioned with Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, I know she's a very large supporter of the silk, especially the traditional, how they make it and they dye it as well. Can you give us some background on that?
Yes, we are lucky that we have the chance to do some work, and when the Queen did have her show in Skonakon, and we did a small bit of work. At the time we were still a young designer, and we did a small bit of work for the dancer costume, using the fabric, using the Thai silk from her foundation. Basically, the queens go to village, from north to south, from Isan to some part of south. Central Plain, Thailand, to talk to all these villagers, because they in the beginning, when they don't have the chance to grow rice, they need something to support themselves. Unless these people would just come into to Bangkok, and also the Thai silk in the original way would just totally subside. It would just totally
would just like disappear
if it's not going to happen. So what she's doing is she's trying to support and tell them what is the right way to weave, what is the thing that in the international market would look at it as a beautiful, expensive fabric.
Also gives us some technique and some for how to make the quality is better than last time, and how to make it very international standard, and how to improve on everything.
Yeah, she brought in international designers to her event. When you have in Skonakon that in the time you would have about 1,000 of the villagers sitting and looking at these beautiful models walking with their own silk using top Thai designer, and over there you would have Valentino sitting and watching it, and those are people that working in the grassroots people that working in the field in their daytime. So that is how she made her villager understood that what you make at home, this is the guy that you might heard from the other side of the world coming to see you.
What are foreigners? Are they looking for something different when they come to Thailand here? Are they looking for very traditional styles, or are you finding much more demand for more modern, more different types of fashion?
I think people look for something different, for sure. At the moment, you obviously have the top high-end brand in the world that people got a good number of people can support it, and then you have the cheap production clothes that made from some of the country that can produce cheaper version of clothes, of garments. So there are people that are looking for something that still affordable but still very high end. So I think that is when Thai designer and Thai silk could fit into the gap.
Do either of you have anything coming up soon? Any fashion shows or any designs that you're currently working on that you think are?
Yes, we do. We are working for the next season, which is Spring/Summer 2013. This collection we are working with Christian de Welter, the Belgian artist based in Bangkok, and we are using his painting, which is the painting that based from the tattoo face of Burmese people. So we use those pictures to be an inspiration for our collection, and the show will be at his studio, Warp 54, and it will be next month in November.
Well, taking a closer look at this year in particular, I know it's Her Majesty's 80th birthday anniversary. Are there any special events that you're participating in?
We are lucky enough to be able to participate in this event. We have decided to design. One is using Phak Khao Ma style of silk. So Phak Khao Ma, it's like it's what the Thai tartan that a lot of the people in the village use. But there is a Thai Phak Khao Ma style silk that you can see. It's the same type. It looks like a tartan pattern. And another one is using mud mi. And mud mi is a particular kind of Thai silk. It's a kind of silk that we love the most, and it's actually one of the most well-known Thai silk. And it starts from you dye the thread and then weave it into different pattern. And the pattern itself got its different look from north to south, from Isan to Surat Thani. People do mud mi, but in their very own version.
Oh, so you can tell just by looking at some fabric, saying, "Oh, this is a design that comes from this particular area."
Yes, you can. And that is one event. The second one is in Khon Kaen. Khon Kaen government would like to promote their mud mi silk, and at the same time would like to use that to celebrate Her Majesty's 80th birthday as well. So we participate that show by doing 3 of the finale outfits, using 3 of the top Thai superstars to walk for us. Luckily enough, they're good looking and making our dress look good too. And that is in Isan. There were people around the area, could be thousands of people come to be an audience. And then the third one was organized by Paradise Park, and this one is quite special in terms of it's not the dress that we made. They actually asked us to be one of the 8 or 9 artists to create our own artwork out of silk. So basically they gave us silk. Mud mi again, we chose to use mud mi again, and you create your own piece of art out of that to hang on the wall. It's a big size, around
3 meters.
3 meter by 1.5 meter. So it's 3 meter long. So we use the painting, the gold on black painting on the cabinet of one very famous temple in Thailand to be our inspiration. And we use the technique of the laser cut acrylic together with hand sewing embroidery, in a very old traditional way to mix together to create something that we really enjoy doing that and very proud of to be a part of the show.
Well, it sounds like a great way of, as you mentioned, keeping that traditional, Thai silk there, but also adding in that modern flair to it as well.
Yeah, and keep the creativity going on, because I think it's very important. Unless like everything else, if you don't develop it, it will be just going to die.
Well, I'd like to thank you both very much for giving us some insight into Thai silks and how unique they are in the world, and also the diversity that you can do in terms of the types of fashion and the design. So we look very much forward to
Thank you
seeing
for
more
coming.
next year.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. ขอบคุณครับ